Good afternoon, everybody. I'm here with the Deputy Mayoress, Ms. Janice Harle. Hello, Janice.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thank you. Say hello to everyone out there.
Hello.
We're doing a new series of videos about sharing the amazing stories of the people of Liverpool. And we thought we'd start off firstly this week with Janice. She has an amazing story about her and her family, very relevant to ANZAC Day. And hopefully you enjoy this. You know, people ask me what makes Liverpool so important and what's so special. Above anything else, it's the amazing people who live here. We're hitting 250,000 people this year, and there are so many amazing stories, and we thought, let's share them with everyone for those of you who are interested about what's going on. So, Janice, I've got a few questions for you. 5 questions, actually, in total. Firstly is, I guess, can you tell us about how your family ended up here in Liverpool?
Well, cutting it short, my father came out of World War II. We lived at Barella. There were already a brother and sister before me, and we had to move from Barella because the home wasn't available anymore. And we were moved to the huts at Warwick Farm. There was a big army base with big round huts.
Whereabouts in Warwick Farm was it?
In Warwick Farm, where the school is now.
Okay, yep.
Where the school is.
Lawrence Hargrave?
Lawrence Hargrave. No, the actual Warwick Farm Public School.
Okay, yes.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, and that was a lot of fun because all of us there living there were all pretty much under the same roof and there for the same reason. And then when the Housing Commission estate was built at Villawood, we all got homes there, which was good as well because we moved, we knew each other to start new schools and that sort of thing. And I guess Liverpool became my town from then because Villawood didn't have anything at all. We did have a station, and we had to come to Liverpool to see a doctor or a chemist or anything like that. So that's what we did. So I'd say Liverpool became our hometown. And yeah, it went on from there. I bought my first home at Mount Pritchard, and then from Mount Pritchard to Liverpool.
So tell us some interesting stories about your family members or anything in particular that was that would interest people out there.
There were 7 of us. I had 2 sisters and 4 brothers, and we had a fun time. We didn't have much. As a matter of fact, we didn't have anything. My clothes were pretty much all hand-me-downs, and I guess I didn't have any really nice clothes until I went to work. And I started working at the age of 15, as you did in those days, and I worked in a printing factory in the city, which was like getting, travelling to the end of the earth on the trains. And then I became a chef. I worked in hotels and got my diplomas and that, and I was a chef for the rest of my life.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
So, but yeah, I had a very interesting, fun life. We were happy. We had the biggest bonfires, and because we had areas where you could have big bonfires and so on. We lived happy, and we all grew up. We've all done okay.
So it was a bit of a different world back in those days.
Yeah.
You were telling me before about your father.
Mm-hmm.
Who was
he was very sick after the war. He got sand up his nose, and I mean they wouldn't have known very much now. Today might be better, but he did get sand up his nose, and every 12 months he used to have it scraped. When he first come home, he was in and out of hospital all the time. Us kids spent a lot of time at Concord Hospital, which was the army hospital, and we all hated it, but never mind, that was what they did. And he was He never talked much about his army days. He never swore in front of us children. He never told jokes in front of us children. We sometimes would sneak back a little bit, but yeah, he was a very decent man. We weren't brought up as religious, but by gosh, we had principles. So he was a tough man, and yeah, so yeah, very good.
He's we're here with this
Yeah,
beautiful
and
portrait of John Edmondson.
His story is what has kept me, I guess, so involved with Liverpool and so dedicated to Liverpool, is that he went out the first time with the 17th Battalion. He came back to Concord Hospital. He was repaired, for want of a better word. He got better, and then he was come back, and he was one of the 7 that went out, including John. So my dad's name in the stories you'll read was Splinter Williams.
Splinter.
Splinter, because he was very tall. He was a huge man. He looked like a big detective when he was walking the street. He wore a suit every day, and so he was called Splinter Williams. His name was Ronald. And look, he was just the ordinary soldier, if you can call any one of them just an ordinary soldier. And the story goes, which I've got all the written proof, is that they were in war in Tobruk. They were fighting. They'd been fighting on and off, but the actual story of where Edmondson got injured in the throat and elsewhere, while he was trying to get 2 other men off one of his men, and but he didn't survive. He survived the night. My dad sat and nursed him while he died.
John Edmondson.
John Edmondson.
Wow.
Yeah. And then after that, they didn't think they were going to win because they had to hold these back. I forget what they called them. They had a name for them. We won't be allowed to use that. Hold them back, and the few that were left were told by I think he was a major, to have 2 grenades in their hand and their swords, whatever they were. They're not called swords. I hope that's making sense. I've got it all written down. And run towards the enemy. And my dad took 2 grenades and ran towards the enemy. And they actually won that and pushed the Germans back.
Wow.
The Germans ran away.
Wow.
So they actually won, and my dad come back from that.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And they were never expected to.
No, none of them. But they did, yeah. Not all of them did. But, yeah, he came back from that. So he was probably very, very damaged, but never talked about it. But I guess over my years with my dad, I realised that. It took me a long time to realise that. It took me a long time to realise why he was so hard, I felt he was a bit selfish as well, because I felt he cared more for his mates than his children. There were lots of little things go around in my head as a young person, and it took me quite a while to realise that, he'd been through hell and back. And, I was good age before I realised just why he was the man he was. But I absolutely adored him, and I did admire him. I was the only one of 7 that really loved him to death. So
that's an amazing story that, John Edmondson has had such a connection and a hero of Liverpool.
Absolute connection. I've got this stuff, which is not very much, but it's a card from many years ago, sent to my mother, to Dolly, Merry Christmas, love Ron, and then all the signatures of the men that were there in the ditches and so on.
So tell us about your story, about your family, and
my family.
You got four daughters.
Got 4 daughters, yes, and there's 10 years between my eldest girl, who's 58, my next girl's 3 years younger, and then my twins are 43.
Okay. Yeah.
No, they're not. They're 45. They're 45.
45.
My twins are 45. And each girl has had 3 children. So I have now got 12 grandchildren. And I do joke and say I've got 6 too many. And I'm never going to be rich. But that's all good because it's so worth it to have a big family. And, yeah, it is so worth it. And so they've all made their homes around Liverpool. My eldest girl has married a horse trainer. He lives at Warwick Farm and doing quite well. My next girl lives at Preston's, up near, closer to us, and she's doing quite well. Alison lives at Wattle Grove and Kate lives at Moorebank.
Beautiful.
So from my place, they're all only 10 minutes away.
Yeah.
And that's because I'm still mean and I don't want my kids I don't even like my friends to move away, so the kids are not allowed to move away. But yeah, we are a pretty close-knit family.
Yeah.
And hence, you know, Peter and I were always involved in Liverpool.
Yeah, you said you're loyal to the bone to Liverpool.
We are, and we have been. And, you know, we helped start the safe houses for the children, which was a wonderful thing when that was happening. And the meetings were held down at our old council building.
Tell us about safe houses, something a lot of us may not know
Safe
about.
houses were, you just got this little square sign to put on your letterbox with a little yellow house, and you didn't have to be, but if you wanted to be, open your house to kids maybe walking home from school, get a bit scared, someone's behind them, they'll run into that house rather than other. And at the time you didn't have police checks. I would think you would have to now. We had a monthly meeting for the safe houses, and interesting things were talked about and looked at. And yeah, I ran a netball club with others, but I usually managed a team, my kids' teams, and trained with them. And physical culture, I ran a physical culture club for a long time, and many years. You know, like Tuesdays were eat out of the pot, feed yourself time. You know, our house was always full, especially once the girls started uni. It was always full of university students, and while they were at my place, I knew where they were. And I would cook because I was a chef. And my last 16 years of chefing was out at the army camp. So I, in the sergeant's mess, so I was really apt to making big spaghettis and pastas, and you know, I'd take all the stuff out. They cooked their own hamburgers. I just supplied all of what goes on top. So our house was always full. We had a backyard pool, everything there to keep them at home. They were never allowed to go into Liverpool on a Thursday night or anything like that. I was pretty tough.
No Thursday night Westfields?
No, Westfield Thursday night. And none of my grandchildren do either. So, but I used to believe if you kept the kids busy, you kept them at home. So, but I must say there was a lot more to do when my 2 eldest girls were growing up than there is now for kids to do.
Well, you say about keeping busy, you know, you're involved in numerous clubs. And,
oh, yes.
You know what I mean? It's,
yes.
You know, Peter was elected to council in 2008, which means you were pretty much elected to council in 2008.
I know.
So, but say behind every great man's a great woman.
They say pushing
along.
Pushing.
So what clubs are you part of? I've lost track.
I used to be Rotary for many years. I used to be Rotary, and I loved it. But they're mostly men, and the barbecues were from 8 in the morning, or earlier because you got there earlier, till 4 in the afternoon. And I mean, you know, I was hitting, well, I think I was 70 9 before I said I had enough. I couldn't stand all day. And anyway, we all got to that same stage. So our actual Liverpool Greenway club closed down, and I went to Inner Wheel, which is that's the inner wheel of the big wheel.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
so I went to Inner Wheel. I belonged to Probus, and I belong to Quota.
Quota. Yeah. Yeah.
And Quota do some wonderful things for Liverpool.
Yeah, indeed.
And we've got beautiful ladies that all, work hard for charities. And I belong to Lifeline as well.
Yeah, and these are the clubs that have done so much for Liverpool.
Absolutely.
Especially when we had nothing many years ago. Now it sounds easy because a lot of things aren't coming to this area.
Yeah. I take a great interest in Lifeline. I take a great interest in still in the Rotary, because they have a thing called Lift the Lid on mental illness. I am very, very keen on helping mental illness. I think it's out there, and it's, they need all the help they can get. And so if I get asked who can we donate to, my first thing is mental illness at the moment.
Yep.
So, it's all good.
Very important.
But I'm slowing down, and as we all are, and we need more young people to step up to the plate. Now, I know that's difficult because everybody's so busy now. People, the husband and wife have got 2 jobs, usually 2 or 3 children. It's hard, but hey, we did it,
Yeah, yeah.
We did it.
Definitely, yeah. Every generation has their own types of challenges. So tell us, Janice, what let's think about it. It's 2050, 25 years from now. Your grandkids. What vision do you see? What sort of Liverpool would you like to see for them in 25 years from now?
I think my main words to use would be clean and safe. I don't know how we achieve that, but I think clean and safe, somewhere that they can live and feel safe. I'm pretty sure my grandchildren are not going to venture very far from their parents. It is a really close family. When my grandson went to Paris and lived for 5 months because of horse training, it was like the end of the world had come for everybody. We missed him so much, But look, lucky today we've got all these FaceTimes and everything, so that'll all be around. So, yeah, look, I don't know, other than clean and safe, and gee, at this moment, be able to afford a home. At this moment, I hope that changes. I hope life's not that hard on them as it is at this moment. That's about it.
Yeah, that's very important. We had a bunch of high school kids here from this school leaders programs, the year 11, year 12s, I think probably 35 kids roughly, and their number one issue is affording a house.
Absolutely.
Not only just for themselves, but also making sure that one student said, we want our mother back because she has to do 2 jobs and my dad has to work, and just to be able to pay the bills. So
that's right.
Well, anyway, I hope everyone out there enjoyed hearing Janice's story. She's an amazing woman, amazing family in Liverpool who have done so much for the area. And this is her story, and hopefully tune into the next episode till we hear someone else's story. Thank you, everyone.